Hey, thanks for having me, Magic. Great to see you all. Yeah, it's great to be here. My name's Patrick Woodhead, and I work for a company called Space Meridian. We've recently spun out of Protocol Labs, and we work on Filecoin Station and the Spark protocol. And I'm here to speak to you about Filecoin Station, the latest things that have been going on, and a little launch as well. Okay, we're going to speak about we're going to remind ourselves what Station is. We're going to speak about the modules that run on Station, the main one being Spark, but then also just quickly speak about some other modules. We're going to have a launch of the Station Desktop V2, and then we're just going to speak about the Station network in general and some metrics from the network. What is Station? Station is a deep-in network that allows anyone to join, contribute, and earn from the Web3 economy. Station grew out of kind of an idea at Protocol Labs that to be a Filecoin storage provider, until obviously Curio came along, it was actually pretty complex. Like you had to have a lot of capital to put forward and really understand so many different things on a technical level as well. And so what could we build which would allow people who are not technical and didn't have to stake anything or put any of their own money up? How can we allow them to join and contribute in the Web3 economy and to begin with in the Filecoin economy? And so the initial product requirement we started with was that you only need to have a laptop to get started, and you don't have to have any sort of guaranteed uptime requirements. You can kind of put Station on when your laptop's on, but you can then still take your laptop to work or around with you, and it's not going to affect you in the network. You're not going to get slashed or anything like that. And then we wanted to make it super simple, like to get started. We wanted to make sure you didn't have to kind of understand cryptography or private keys or storing a seed phrase. We wanted you to be able to just start earning fill after just a few clicks. So that's really where we started with Station, and it's grown from those initial ideas and requirements. So obviously, if you're just running nodes on laptops, you're not able to provide like beefy hardware and like do kind of a lot of things which Web3 requires. But something which is really useful that you can do from your own computers or phones or clients is you can act as the client. You can make retrieval requests. You can sample things. You can test availability. And so we found this sort of natural fit with the Filecoin world where we needed to improve the retrieval success rate of Filecoin, and we needed to have this first module for the Station network acting as clients. And so when you download Station, it immediately starts running Spark, and Spark samples retrievals from Filecoin storage providers. And then for doing so, you are paid a small amount of fill for each retrieval that you make. And so people aren't earning a crazy amount of fill. These are still kind of very small payments, but at the same time, you're not having to stake anything. You're not really having to do anything that you haven't got particularly much skin in the game. So it's just a way to get you into the Web3 economy. And we're looking at ways that down the line, you could actually start to maximize your earnings if you had uptime guarantees or you potentially staked what you've already earned, that sort of thing. We have looked at other modules apart from Spark, but at the moment we are really focused on Spark. It's kind of gained some momentum, and storage providers are now working to really improve their retrieval success rate. We're working with Filecoin Foundation and Fiddle as well to try and make sure that Spark can start to govern and improve the health of the Filecoin retrieval market. And there's just lots to do. So we're a small team and we're mainly focused on Spark at the moment. We did have another module which ran on the Station network called Voyager, and it ran for 4 months and had, it's got retroactive rewards incoming for the operators who did jobs for Voyager. And Voyager was maintaining the health of the Saturn network, but that project came to an end, and so that module is currently in standby, but we're working with the kind of team that's grown out of the Saturn team. And we hopefully get something similar to Voyager back online in sort of Q3, Q4. And then we've got loads of conversations with other teams. I'm not going to kind of go through them now because it's all just very early stage, but there does seem to be this space where people do want to have sampling, availability testing, evaluation of their network from the client perspective. And so we're looking at other Spark-like use cases because we do think the work we've done with Spark has got value, and it's been pretty complex at times, so there's a lot that's gone into it. Eventually, we would like to build this network where it's really a platform that anyone can deploy their own module code to the station network within a few clicks. But there's obviously a lot for us to figure out before we get to that point. But that's just to give you an idea of where we're heading. And that brings us to the launch. We are launching the Station Desktop V2, and with it we have this video to just get the hype going. All right, there we go. That's the Station network. And we are announcing the launch of the Station Desktop app version 2. So version 1, I think we can all admit, was, it felt a bit POC-like in the interface. It kind of showed a bunch of logs for like what was happening in the Spark module and other modules, but you didn't really get much more out of it than that. And so we wanted to work on the interface. This is, we're trying to bring new people into the Web3 economy, people who might not have any technical background or understanding of the space at all, and make it much more simple for them to understand what's going on. And so you can see top left here, this is sort of the main dashboard page. You can see how much fill you've earned, but then also how much scheduled rewards you've got on top of that, which are sitting on the blockchain. The Meridian Impact Evaluator, which is how we pay out station operators. They have scheduled rewards until you get to a 0.1 fill limit, at which point that fill is pushed to you. So you can see here that the kind of light blue area on the left is the scheduled rewards, and then as it goes over 0.1, we gain that fill payout, and we've got the darker blue coming in, and then the scheduled rewards will continue to build on top of that. The activity log, which used to dominate the page, is just kind of relegated to the side there. And we've also got the number of jobs you completed, as well as up in the top right, kind of how much fill you've got in your wallet. Going to the next page, we have got the modules page. This gives a bit more information about the modules which you're running. Some early feedback we had is that people were a little bit concerned about exactly what they would be doing inside of stations. So we want to be completely clear that these jobs are, for the right reasons, and that they can earn from them, and it's not doing anything they wouldn't want to be done on their computer. As you can see here, we've got Spark and Voyager. We will continue to have modules which have ended. I think there will quite often will be modules which potentially only last 3 to 6 months rather than will be never ending. So we want to just kind of have the rewards given and how many jobs are done for each module, whether it's active or whether it's ended. Going through to the wallet page, here you can look at how much you've got. You can see the transaction history, you can see your station addresses, and you can also transfer out your fill to a destination address. When you set up station, as I mentioned already, you don't have to do any sort of, you haven't got to have any understanding of seed phrases or what a fill wallet is. And that's because you're only going to be earning a small amount initially. But as you then start to earn more, you're going to be sort of more inclined to understand what's actually going on, and potentially even transfer some fill out to another place which is more secure. So the kind of pattern we want to see happen is if that number does build up, people then transfer it into a fill address, which is more secure. They've got more control over, even to potentially like a ledger wallet or something. Next is the settings page. We do want to give people their seed phrase. Like, we don't want to completely abstract away all that complexity. So we do have the ability that you can actually get your seed phrase out of Fill Station. This is kind of important as well if you want to hack around or download a new version, or like you just want to make sure that you're safeguarding the station you had. Like if you want your transaction history, blah, blah, blah. It's quite nice just to be able to get hold of that. And you can also check for updates and just kind of save module logs, which can help us debug what's happening on your station node. Yeah, that's the Station Desktop V2. We're really happy with the design. Shout out to Subvisual who've been working on that. Oh, and a shout out to Tiny Rebel for the video that we saw earlier as well. I forgot to say that. Okay, so how do you get hold of V2? If you've already got the Station app on your computer, you can just carry on and it will just download automatically. If you've never had Station before, you head to filstation.app and you can download it from there and it will automatically download the V2 version from here. All right, well, that was the launch. Next, we're going to go into just a few metrics about the Station network. Back in January, we had, looking at this, sort of 4,500 unique filled wallet addresses on the Station network. And we've seen a nice growth rate up to, in the month of June, we've had 13,044 unique filled wallet addresses as part of the Station network. Thing to mention here as well is that it's not just people running it in their laptop. People can also run it on a server or on a Raspberry Pi or just kind of anywhere they want to. And our power users, what they do is they have one filled wallet address, but they use that same address for multiple Station instances, because otherwise it would be too much kind of to manage all your fill addresses across all your Station nodes. And so even though here it says 13,044, we do have power users that are running tens, if not hundreds, of Station individual instances. And so the amount of stations which are doing jobs is larger than this number. But we think this is a much better metric to use because the overall number of stations can go up thousands and down thousands each day. It jumps around a lot more. This feels a bit more steady, and it gives a bit more of a heuristic of how many people we think are invested into this network. So that's the growth of the network. We've done, these are taken from the website yesterday. We've done, are these up to date, Julian? Oh, right.
It's too much period.
Oh, okay. So we've done at least 161.5 million jobs on the Station network. 6.7K fill have been earned by Station operators. And as I said in the last slide, this is across kind of 13K plus network participants. Another thing we've noticed is that deep in deployments or deep in networks, I feel like they're all trying to kind of be the deployment target for other networks. And so some days we've seen the number of Station nodes just dramatically go up, and we're trying to figure out why. And we've kind of done a bit of digging. We've seen that, for example, the Crank network, they've got 11K nodes, and they have offered Filecoin Station as a one-click installation deployment on their own network because Filecoin Station is so easy to set up. And so they've offered that to their network, and suddenly we see a lot more people running Station, even if they might not even, we don't know, but they might not even know they're running Station in their sort of containerized version of Crank. The Titan network, I think I've heard they've got over 100K nodes, maybe even 500K nodes, and they're looking into running Station. I think they're already running it on some of their nodes. So that's another place which we're seeing Station grow. And then Fogworks, they said they have 100 nodes. And each of these is sort of running Station. Because you can earn fill through Station, I guess deep in aggregators are thinking, hey, we can actually, if we run this, we can then start to give some tokens to our node operators. I kind of feel, I don't know if it's just feels a bit strange where you saw layers of deep in deployment targets and aggregations, but how much value that adds. But that can cause Station to grow and shrink pretty quickly. This is Station network geo-distribution. So we've got pretty good coverage. I think we haven't got the kind of heat effect on this map. So, for example, London and New York just sort of look like one dot. I'm sure that there would be a lot more jobs coming from there than somewhere like Greenland, which is still a surprise to me that there's a node there. But yeah, we've got a nice distribution around the world, and we think that's going to be really great for when we want to do modules where it does matter where you're making the requests from. If you're thinking about time to first byte, or how web pages or how your scraping services differ from different geolocations, it is important to have that coverage. Thank you very much.